Holy moly, why is this so much? I swear, this is totally organized and categorized, even if it doesn't look like that, but it is. I gave my best to put everything to this table so that you can get an overview and that I can give you like an organized overview over that, what I have collected during a trip to Rome. I was 2 weeks in Rome, and this is what I could collect for my travel journaling that I want to do now after the trip is over. And I would like to give you some tips and tricks where to find paper, ephemera, and other bits and pieces that you can use for your own travel journal or a travel journal box. In my last video, I have told you that I will not create like a normal travel junk journal for that trip, but I want to travel journal in a box. I have already shown you this box, sturdy thing. It can happen that I will take another box or construct my own box depending on the size of the things that I want to put into this box. But the plan is to have a collection of like journaling cards, postcards, tags, little bits and pieces, which are loose in a box as a memory of a holiday. If you have missed my last video, you can, of course, check that out. I will make a whole playlist. The link is down below in the description box. There will come more videos about my journey of creating this travel journal box. And into those videos, I will also include some video footage that I took in Rome. So if you want to like travel virtually to Rome, you can do that with me together. I will show you Rome through my eyes. With a little bit like artsy and junk journal related perspective, if that makes sense. In this video, and probably in the next one as well, because I think I have to divide this into 2 videos, because otherwise it would be totally too long, I will talk about the things that you can collect during a trip. That doesn't have to be a trip to Rome. The things that I have here, I guess you can find in any other city as well. And you could even find some of those things locally if you are not able to go to a holiday, or if you don't have a holiday in front of you. There are, I guess, things that you can find locally. If you go to a restaurant, for example, or if you meet a friend, you can perhaps also find some of the things for your journaling on those places as well. And you could also include those into like daily journaling. Everything that I have here on my table was 99% free. There are some things that I have bought. I wanted to go through this step by step and show you everything and talk about where I got it from. And I also would like to give you some tips and tricks, especially for Rome, where you can find things. There were many questions also below my videos that I have from other trips to Rome. I have several videos where I also show you my other junk journals that I have made. Those videos are also linked in that playlist that is linked down below this video. And there I got some questions that I want to try to answer with this video as well, because there were some people who were like, yeah, where can I find this? Where did you got that? And I want to try to go in detail about that. So I have tried to like categorize the things a little bit. And here's everything that I got in 2 weeks of my holiday. If you are a junk journal beginner, then you might think, how is it possible to get so many things? I think when you go on a trip to a city, for example, you have to go through the city with open eyes. But I'm sure once you've found one thing, you will find them all. Yeah, you only have to open your eyes and go through the city with open eyes. And sometimes you have to perhaps do some tricks to get some things, but I will go into that a little bit later. A really obvious thing that I would like to start with is this thing. So this was on my suitcase when I had to put my suitcase into the airplane. You get this thing that is sticked to your suitcase, and then later on, of course, you can remove it. But this is great ephemera, of course. I mean, look at these numbers and these little barcodes here. The color is perhaps a little bit crazy, but we can handle that. It is sticky in some places, but we can handle that, of course, as well. So don't throw this away. You can use that for your journal or for your box if you want to make a box like I do for this project. Another thing that you sometimes can get for free, and that is really obvious for city holidays, of course, as well, are maps. So this one here I could get in my hotel. I was really surprised. I have it upside down, sorry. I was really surprised to get a map like this in the hotel. That is not normal, I have to say, because look, this is a really sturdy map. You can see it because it's so glossy, and it's not this like normal paper material. So this glossy surface makes it really sturdy if you want to open and close it very often. I haven't used this map for my walks through Rome because I mainly use my phone for finding the right way. And I have to say, yeah, I can close my eyes and walk through Rome. I can find the most places without a map or without my phone. But yeah, that's why it looks so new. But of course, you can also use a used map in your junk journal later. I find that also more interesting when the map is used. If you, for example, made some notes on the map, or you have marked something by making a circle around a special building or something where you wanted to go, then it's more you, yeah, and it's more like the map lives more when you have some damages, for example, or some notes on it, yeah. So this was I was really lucky to get this, because look, here it says originally it would have cost €3. You can read that here on this little sign. But in the hotel, I was allowed to take this for free. I don't know why, but I think even €3 would be okay for getting so much material. I mean, look, this is really, really big. And the card also has something special, and I really like that about this card. It has those little 3D images where you can see the buildings in the like standing in the map. And that is not only helpful for orientation, of course, but I also like that, yeah, because it's more alive, isn't it? You can find such a map, of course, in your hotel. If it's not like such a high quality map, you could also ask if they have like those tourist maps. Do you know those? Sometimes they have like really big, yeah, like that looks like a paper pad, and there's a really, really big map, and they can tear that off. And those maps are mostly for free in the most hotels. I got those on my past trips to Rome. That is normal paper. It's way smaller than that. But of course, for a junk journal, it's also a great thing that you can use for making pages or gluing that into collages or whatever. Another really big category, please don't be afraid, is this here. That looks a little bit weird. In this little pouch, I have collected every single paper that I had when I had a coffee or a meal. So these are all the bills that I have collected. This is a lot, but there are also like the train information that I have printed out. The train tickets we also got via email. So I have printed all of that out. And the real papers I have here as well, of course, from the restaurants. With these papers, you have to know something that you have to have in mind if you want to use those in your journals. The most of those papers here are printed on this thermal paper, meaning if they get hot, they get black. And if you want to avoid that, you can just take such a paper, put that to your scanner and make a copy of it and use the copy in your journal to avoid that everything gets black. I like those papers because there are many like tiny things like numbers or names, or sometimes it also has some words like here, for example, arrivederci and grazie. That means goodbye and thank you, which you could cut out and use as tiny snippet ephemera. And of course, you have also the information what you have eaten in a restaurant, what you have paid. I think that's a great memory as well. And perhaps you want to track that, what you have spent for your holiday in a journal as well. I usually don't do that. I have something like a rough overview what the holiday has cost me. I don't track that in my journal because that, you know, would perhaps make some strange feelings when you look at it again. But yeah, if you want to do that, you could do that with those papers as well. Sometimes they also have like interesting backsides, which you could use in your journal if you want. So we have all of these. Of course, those are totally free. If you ignore that you have spent money for the food and the coffee that you had and the train ticket and such stuff. So that's that. I have a lot of that. And another big category for me, and that is very special to me, are sugar bags. As you can see, everything that's laying here are sugar bags. I will take some up so that you can, let me just place them here to my journal so that you can see them a little bit better. As you can see, they look very different. I'm trying to put some here that are like, you know, that we don't have the same, so that you can see the variation that you could get. But I also have to say, it was strange this year when I was in Rome, because those sugar bags, I mean, they are interesting and they are really nice. They are a wonderful memory and they are important to me and I just love them. Yeah. But in the other years, I could find way more interesting sugar bags. There has obviously changed something about the images that they print to the sugar bags. In the other years, I could also find some that has had like prints of watercolor drawings, watercolor paintings on them. There were like little guitars or abstract art was on the sugar bags. And now it's like only advertising the brand of the sugar. And sometimes there's an advertisement for the bar where you got your coffee. I still like them and they are still a great thing to use in a journal, but I was a tiny little bit disappointed. But of course, this is something that you could collect. I do it like that. I go to a coffee bar in Rome, I order my coffee, and then in the most cases you get a bag of sugar with the coffee, or you are allowed to take a bag of sugar from a place where they store it. Sometimes they are in those like giant coffee cups where you can just take one out. And even if you don't like sugar putting into your, even if you don't like putting sugar into your coffee, you can always ask if you can take one, and they will always say yes, because they don't know that you will take it not for your coffee but for your journal. And I don't like sugar in my coffee, so I have taken all of these. They are still full home with me, and I will now do the following thing. I will open them carefully. There are two ways to open them. So here, for example, I can already see that it's not possible to separate both of these layers, because can you see that it's like pressed together? You can see that with those little lines. So it will be probably not possible to just open that to have both of the layers intact, this one and the one on the back, but you can still take some scissors and make a tiny little cut here so that you can take this off and take the sugar out and put this later on back, or you can also throw it away, of course. I would not do that, but you could. Or what you also could do is you could just cut a little corner here like so in a little angle to be able to get the sugar out. And I will take all of these packages and put the sugar into a glass. And when I then have a special thing to eat here in Austria at home, and I want to put some sugar in, then I can take that from that special glass. And for me, this like sugar from Rome glass is something special. I need that in my house and I need that in my life. Otherwise, it would not be my life if I wouldn't have that. But of course, you could also leave the sugar in here and use this thing as it is. I mean, it's only sugar. And when it's totally closed, what shall happen? Yeah. If the package is intact, you could also use that in the journal with the sugar inside. That would bring a little bit of bulk. But if you can live with that, that would be a possibility, of course, as well. When I have my empty bags, I like to do several different things with those. I will show you that in a separate video. There are several possibilities what you could do with this. Let me just mention some examples. You could turn them into tiny pockets just by opening one side, and then you could put a tag inside and glue the thing down so that you have just a tiny, tiny pocket to put some ephemera in. You could also take several of those and sew them together so that you have something like a Franken page. That would also be a great base for painting on it, or for making a collage, or for turning the single pieces into windows would make really much sense for Rome, or doors would make sense as well. So you can get really creative with these little guys. As I said, I will make a separate video about those and what happens with those, and I will show you several different ideas what I will do with them. So that was that. So you will definitely see those again in one of the future videos. Then I got these things, and perhaps you can get something similar as well. This is also something from a category, I would say, something that you could get locally as well, something where you don't necessarily have to go on holiday to get this. This is from an art gallery. So the art gallery where it comes from is this one. Perhaps you want to make a screenshot. For those of you who asked me, where can I go if I am in Rome, this would be a place where I definitely would go again. It's a really, really nice art gallery, really interesting also for junk journaling. They are specialized in pop art, and it was really interesting there. You can visit them, for example, on Instagram here. They have a website as well, and I guess you can find some photos there as well. Then let's go on to things that you can get in a restaurant when you have a drink. So let me just place these here as well. So these are bottle caps, and these little guys, some of you have told me how those are called. I always forget the name of those. You know, this is from a Coca-Cola bottle, and these are great for putting on tags, for example. And those bottle caps you can also use, of course, as ephemera in your journal. You can flatten them. I know that there are some people out there who flatten their bottle caps with their Big Shot, but I don't know if I want to do that, or if I will take a hammer. I'm a little bit afraid to run these guys through my Big Shot, because I have like a little bit of fear to destroy my machine. But you could use them, of course, as they are as well. Yeah, there's no problem with that. You could also decorate the inside. There are many tutorials on YouTube how to do that. I will probably flatten them, or what I also thought, I mean, then I would use a hammer or something else, not my Big Shot. But what I also thought was I could perhaps glue them to the outside of my box. if I would put some paper onto my box to cover this ugly thing here up, then I could perhaps just glue them to the outer side of my box. Or what you also could do is, if you make a journal, you could glue them to the cover of your journal. When you are in Rome, I have a tip for you to get these, because sometimes it's strange. It's a little bit hard to get these. It seems not hard, but sometimes it is. In Rome, I made the experience that on the menu in the restaurant, there's written, for example, Messina beer in a bottle. So the menu says that the beer comes in a bottle. But sometimes it's only the information that it came from a bottle and you get it in a glass. So if you want to make sure that you get a bottle and the bottle cap, ask beforehand if you will get a glass or if you will get the bottle. And when they say you will get the bottle, be happy. And then when they come and bring you the bottle, be aware of asking if you can have this. You will not believe how much trouble I had with language and time and running after one of the people who were working in the restaurant to get these, because they want to be fast, they want to be kind, they want to have the table as clean as possible, and they will probably take this back after they have given you the beer. So be fast and ask if you can get this. So that's this. And with like having drinks, there's another cool thing that you can collect, and that are these little guys here. So these are, in German it's called Bierdeckel. I don't know. It's like a coaster that's below the bottle of beer. And sometimes they have those like interesting images on them. It's like, you know, sturdy. If you want to include some kind of this thing into your journal, you can either live with some bulk and with some stiff material, or you could also divide this here. Just go in here with your fingernail and then divide the two layers of this to be able to glue this down and this down. That way you would get two pieces of ephemera from one of those. I also have this one. This has a little bit like a weird shape. This was also laying below a glass of beer. This is the same one that we had before. And this one I could get on St. Patrick's Day. There was like a little party on St. Patrick's Day, and they had the Guinness beer there. I mean, that's obvious. I mean, Irish beer, that's obvious, yeah. And there was a little party, and we went there, and they had those like customized coasters for St. Patrick's Day. And I really love that it says St. Patrick's Day, that it says the name of the beer, that it says the date. It has this little clover here. Isn't this just cute? And I also found, that was really cute, on the way to this party, I found some clover growing on the street, or next to the street, and I took a photo, and I will definitely put the photo and this in combination to my box. That is a really great memory. So here we go, drink number 2 for today. This is, as you can guess, a little bit better than the bubble tea was. We are here, even if it looks not like an event or something, but this is the building where the St. Patrick's weekend is happening this weekend. And I found that, yeah, it was coincidence that I found that on Google. I just show you the area around it. And we are hoping for some music perhaps. And of course, we wanted to drink a Guinness beer, so that it's perhaps a little bit traditional. And speaking about beer or wine or cider or something like that, you could also collect things like this here. This I have just removed from the bottle. Also this, that was on the topper part of the bottle. Oh, ja, so geht's gar nicht. Ist er fertig mit Hupen? Holy crap! Silence, please. One way to get cool ephemera in Rome: just order a beer and hope for the best and try to get this off. Look. This is how to get ephemera for free. Ta-da! And this is the piece that I got there. So this is exactly what you have seen a second ago in the video. I'm really happy that it is like intact, and it's so wonderful paper. It's just amazing. And this looks, it's just cool, isn't it? So I have some more here. So this was from a very special bottle. Oh my goodness, that was such a funny story. Yeah, then I had this one here that was the same disaster, like with the blue bottle caps here. So this comes from the same bottle. As you can see, this tinier piece here that came from the top of the bottle is a little bit torn because I couldn't get it off in total. It was really strange, but yeah, sometimes you have to live with little like damages or something. You can't expect that you can get everything like in a really good state off from the bottles. This little golden foil I got from a cider bottle that was also on the top. This took me forever. I thought I have to ask if I can sleep in the restaurant to get this off. Woo! Oh my goodness, and it's really light. I'm so sorry I've flown it away. But yeah, it's a really nice memory as well. And this is relatively fragile, so I probably have to glue that down completely to be able to save that. But I wanted to show you that in its original condition. So it totally makes sense if you have something like an envelope or something. For example, what I have shown you in my last video, this little guy was really helpful with the envelope here, so that I was able to put also those fragile things into here to bring them back to the hotel in, you know, like safe way. And if you want to get more ideas about where to find ephemera and paper and other materials for your travel journal for free, stay tuned for my next video. I will show you the rest of those things that I have on my desk here in my next video. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. Have a very great day and see you the next time. Bye bye!